I had to get out the old magnifying glass to see if my swab was flocked. Well, I never heard of that term before, but then again, I'd never been interested in swabs until now when I had to take a test. So I decided to look into what these things are. Because let's face it, the test always starts with putting the swab up your nose, rotating it, and putting it into a solution, etc. So, who has given much thought to swabs? I would venture to say virtually nobody. Luckily, experts have given it a lot of thought and have published extensively on this issue because it's important. We don't want to be just stuffing random stuff up our nose. So, what are these swabs made of? A lot of issues here. First of all, the shaft has to be flexible and it cannot break because you don't want to be injured by it, obviously. It also has to withstand the rigors of sterilization, which is usually done with ethylene oxide. So that's for the shaft. That's made of polystyrene, the same stuff that plastic glasses are made of. And it stands up to all of the rigors that are needed. Now, what about the tip? Well, of course, it has to absorb material and also release the absorbed material into the test solution. It can be made of several different materials. It can be made of cotton. It can be made of rayon. Now, both cotton and rayon, which comes from wood pulp, of course, come from plants, and therefore they could be contaminated by genetic material, which would be an issue in a PCR test. On the other hand, polyester, nylon, and polyurethane are synthetic materials, would not have that problem, and they are all quite absorbent. Just which material is to be used on a specific swab is determined by what that swab is supposed to do. In the case of COVID-19, the swab that I've got here is flocked nylon. Now I've had to learn what this term flocked means. It means that a spray of nylon fibers is applied to the shaft and the fibers stick to it perpendicular. And I don't think you can see that very well, but there you go. So we have loads of tiny little nylon fibers sticking perpendicular, which means that the surface area is very, very large. That's important for efficient absorption and also for efficient release of the material into the test solution. So luckily for us, a lot of scientists have looked into that and have found just the right stuff to shove up our nose. And just like any other subject, any other issue, once you scratch the surface, it becomes more interesting. So there you go. That's our cup of joe for today.